Hello and welcome to your astrological vibrations for Monday, May 2nd, 2022 by Gaia Blooming. I am Mimi and our energy mantra for today is, my life is expansive when I honor my values. And we have some shifts this week. I always like to give a week ahead glance on Monday. The biggest thing is that we're in the eclipse corridor now. And I always say that I find the time between the eclipses is the most prolific in the transformation process of the eclipses. It can also be the part that feels the most intense. As we're moving through the lessons from the one eclipse and building to the second, often it's like, I don't want to compare it to the eye of a storm, but it's kind of like in that moment where you're like, all right, I know something else is coming. I'm breathing through it. I'm still integrating what's already happened, knowing that there's more coming. It can kind of feel like that. So really working and digging into our lessons of value will be so beneficial, just so beneficial in this time and help bring you focus. Beware of fear rising. I know there's a lot of, euphemisms for fear. I don't know if that's the right word, but my favorite one is feel everything and relax, or feel everything and even rise. It's okay to have feels. We don't have to fear the feels, and you can still rise up as you experience them. So do keep that in mind. We've got a Mahalo joining us. I guess he wanted to be on camera. He wanted to wish everybody well. Besides that, this week we have Venus shifting signs. That's actually today on Monday, so we'll dig into that. We are going to have the Sun and Uranus conjunct. That's going to be on Thursday. Sun and Uranus conjunct just hypes that Uranus energy of change, revolution, evolution. It can also be very challenging in regards to the electrical and mental energies, so be very aware of what your mental energies are doing. The chaos in the background, our cats running a marathon, giving us good influence of what Uranus may or may not do for us. I would say those are the major things to be aware of this week. So that being said, let's dig into Monday. So like I said, we have Venus shifting signs. Venus will be moving into Aries at 9:10 a.m. Pacific time. Venus in Aries is a really interesting placement. Aries is actually the opposite sign of one of Venus's home signs. And so it can kind of feel like that. Venus in Aries may be challenging for relationships. Not because Venus in Aries doesn't love a great love affair, because Venus in Aries does, but Venus in Aries can almost be a little bit selfish. And let me be fair and say that Venus in Aries is meant to be a little bit selfish. Venus in Aries, while relationships are grand, Venus in Aries knows that there's a pull to their gifts and their creation and their passion that needs to be exercised. That's the best word that I can use for Venus in Aries. It needs to be exercised. And so while Venus in Aries can be hyper passionate in a love affair or even a relationship, Venus in Aries will always come back to themselves and their passions and their gifts. Venus represents, beyond relationships, our gifts and our value and our worth. And Venus in Aries is a great opportunity for all of us to recognize the value that we do bring as ourselves to relationship, to the world, as we bring forth our gifts, that we really don't have to do or be anything that brings us value to the world. It's like Venus in Aries is a rainbow that you look upon and smile. I am thinking of some Venus in Aries friends right now hearing that, and it's making me laugh. But it's true. Venus in Aries is a smile that can really kick off, inspiration, creativity, passion within you. Now, we do have to be careful because Venus in Aries can also ignite wars, via passion. And so we do want to be aware of that. Wars over not feeling valued, wars over people not necessarily recognizing our worth. And really, truly, it's not anybody else's job to recognize your worth. It is your own. And so do keep that in mind with Venus in Aries. Now, all this being said, Venus will be at 0 degrees today. And anytime Venus is at 0 degrees, we can feel the wonk. I always say that it almost feels like grace is gone. Like the Venus energy is gone. But to be fair, Venus in Aries, while it's passionate, it's not necessarily the most graceful. So just be aware of that over the next, I think it's like 28 days, or maybe it's like next 29 days. Venus will be moving into Taurus by the end of May. So this is a great time for inspiration, passion, digging into your gifts, bringing those forward. If you start a love affair at this time, you may not be long lasting, and that is okay as well. Just keep that in mind with this energy. Besides that, we also have the moon shifting signs. The moon will move out of Taurus and into Gemini. Moon in Gemini is always a very interesting placement. Moon in Gemini can have us telling stories. The moon is emotional and Gemini is the thinker. And when emotions and thoughts start intertwining, we tell these stories that we feel and we believe as real, whether they are or not. And so it's always good to be very aware. What is the story I'm telling? What is the purpose of this story that I'm telling? Is this true? Is this supportive? Is this helping me? Because sometimes it absolutely does, and other times it can be that spiral that we don't necessarily want to go down. Now, especially with Venus moving into another sign today, and not necessarily feeling that grace, there can be intensity behind it. Fortunately, Gemini energy wants to have fun, so that's the fortunate thing. But really watch your thoughts, because doubling down on this, Mercury and the moon will be connecting. So really watch your stories. I always like to say, like, keep your monkeys on a leash, or give them parameters, give them boundaries. Bring awareness to your thoughts. So the moon will be shifting relatively early in the day, 3:46 a.m. Pacific time. Again, it depends where you live, right? Before that, the moon in Taurus will be making some last connections with Jupiter, Pluto, and Venus. That'll be through the night for a majority of us. I have been having the most interesting dreams. I lived in an Apple store in one of them. I picked up Ariana Grande from the airport last night in another one. I look forward to what shows up tonight because it's been interesting. But all of these may have, potentially, I haven't figured out completely all the messages in mind, but they may have messages for you around value. Keep that in mind, especially as the moon is finishing up, as this is moving us out of this new moon eclipse that we just had on Saturday, and into this eclipse corridor. Pay attention to your lessons around your value, around your worth. For the cards, I have the totality card. This is a 5 card, so it is a card of the mind. This is the card that I call the Be Here Now card. So remember that when your awareness with your mental energy. And if it starts going all over the place, reach out and ask for some support, ask for some guidance in that. That being said, there are some things that we may have to visit. I have the adventure card. This card always to me feels like Magic School Bus in regards to the feels. So there may be some things that we have to face, but there's a rainbow at the end of facing these energies. Now, not my favorite card, but I do have the Thunderbolt card, and this to me is just representing like the potential intensity, the potential fear energy that can be popping up as we build to a total lunar eclipse in the sign of Scorpio in about 2 weeks. Check your mind, how it's engaging with fears. That being said, the universe is like, we'd really like to give you the world. This is the completion card, but it's the world card. It's a promise of good things. And so even though you might be getting wrapped up in those fears, we're called back, like, be here now. Your path that you're walking on is taking you where you want to go. believe it or not, right? So I'm going to leave that here. You can book a reading with me. Email me, mimiclark@gmail.com. Besides that, the better it gets, the better it gets. There's more than enough love in the world for you. You have the power, and honor your values. Namaste.